Welcome back to Estate Agency Mastery. I'm super pumped for our AI episode. If you don't know who Mal is, look him up. He is Mr. AI when it comes to estate agency. I'm really, really excited for what we've got. So Mal, you know the score. If you're an agent in Birmingham, Belfast or Bognor Regis, give me 3 tips that we can implement into our business over the next few weeks. What have you got for us?
Of course, Chris, thank you. And thanks for the intro. So first of all, I'm going to dig a bit deeper into my past here and talk about portals just for a second. So I think the first thing you've got to look at in the next month, which is kind of the end of 2024, going into 2025, you have got to have a plan to replace Rightmove. All right. There is going to come a time. It may be month 1, 2025, and maybe 2026, but pretty damn soon you are going to find yourself having to make a choice between Rightmove and, I don't know, eating or something. They are going to come for every spare bit of cash you have. So either you start now and plan for it, and slowly over time make sure that you have enough additional ways of getting to market. You have the appropriate scripts for you and your teams to be able to articulate where you are adding value that is not just Rightmove value, because their interest and their focus is 100% on basically thinning out your wallet so that you can't even afford CoStar / on the market / homes.com / whatever it's going to be called. You can't even afford Zoopla. You can't even afford, I don't know, CRM systems, whatever it is. They are going to try and squash you right down to the only thing you can ever see in front of you is Rightmove. So you need right now to be planning on how you are going to extract yourself and your very personal bits out of their vice and enable you to carry on and to thrive outside of their ecosystem.
I love where you're taking this, and it's how they do it in the US, in Australia, where it's like, what do we do to get it sold before it actually goes on the portal? All of that. I'm going to come on to those hints and tips and some practicalities in a minute. But would you not argue that Rightmove is one of the best return on investments in the estate agency? I mean, for a couple of grand a month, you pretty much put all your properties up there, you get all your leads up there. You don't need to do that much. So actually, it's a lot, but it allows you to run your business, right?
So look, I think that when it first arose and when portals first arose, and listen, you are speaking to somebody 25 years in property portals, helped set up Zoopla, helped set up Prime Location back in 2000. I love portals, right? I think that they're done right and done responsibly and ethically with integrity. They are an absolutely integral part of estate agency property advertising. What I think is the case with Rightmove, sadly, is that it has become just essentially a parasite, right? They have set out last year, November 2023. They had an investor day about this time last year, and they set out their stall for the next 5 years. And basically, you can summarize it on a little post-it note that basically says agent fees up by over 50%. Right, that is their strategy for the next 5 years. So, if you are supportive of that, that's okay. But actually what that means is it will going to be over £2,000 per branch per month on average is going to be going out of your wallet to pay for this one thing. That is going to restrict you on everything else. If everybody's on it, there's no difference. It doesn't differentiate in the industry, and every single agent is different. All right, but that's not allowed to be surfaced via the homogenized, essentially kind of face of Rightmove that allows you to a great or lesser extent to try and differentiate yourself. And actually, I'd argue the kind of return on investment piece, I think it's a real kind of straw man. I think that if you look at the actual leads that are sent through and the ones that convert, etc., then particularly on the vendor side, it is real thin gruel. On the tenant side, fine, you're going to get a bucket load of those. On the buyer side, again, that they're okay, but actually, are there other ways of going about of skinning this particular cat? And absolutely, and we'll move on to some more AI stuff in a sec. But what AI is bringing down the track, particularly are ways, means that are so much more cost effective than this particular medium. And I remember back in print, right? I remember 2000, and this is how old I am, when the internet first kind of came along and everyone was going, oh, we can't get rid of print. Print, everybody loves print. That was because every agent was always talking about print. and saying, yeah, we've got the back cover, or we've got, 3 pages in this week's Gazette. And then we'll go, oh, 3 pages in the Gazette. That's great. And at the moment, what we're doing is we're talking about Rightmove and saying, oh, yeah, we're on Rightmove. And everyone goes, oh, we're going to run Rightmove. It's like, that's just reinforcing it. So as part of this plan for getting rid of them, because like I said, at some stage it's going to be your firstborn child or Rightmove. I think you're going to need to actually have this right. Okay, so how do I stop talking about it? Let's stop talking about it now. Start talking about all the other stuff you do. Don't mention Rightmove. If they ask about Rightmove, say, yeah, of course we want Rightmove, but there's loads of other stuff that's fun. And then look at all these other alternatives. There's loads more out there. As effective as it's about the branding, right? If CoStar does come with on the market and homes.com like a train next year, as they are promising, then that's going to be good and that's going to be fun. But what Rightmove's doing is try and make sure you can't afford that. So that is my first tip: is there is some serious thought to be given, I'm afraid, to your security blanket of the last 25 years. That's not something that you need anymore.
I love it. I'm sure there's lots of agents listening to this thinking, right, I'm going to phone Malab and we're going to go firebomb Rightmove HQ, right? We're going to throw a load of orange paint up there or what have you.
I do
Um,
not support any direct action necessary.
no, I like it. But give me something practical then. Like, do I release stuff to a Facebook group first? Do I let my CRM do reverse matches and like, how do I get an exclusive buy list? How do I compete with the mammoth that is?
Practical. Right. So first of all, what you've got to do is you know what your target audience is, who your target audience is. All right. So you've got to, and this sounds a little bit kind of like marketing easy, a little bit complex. It's really not, right? Just have in your mind the person that you most often want to deal with, right? That vendor. All right. And what you've got to try and do is build around them what their actual kind of habits are and how they think and all that sort of stuff. Now, to call Rightmove a security blanket it's not just for effect. Actually, I think we've almost outsourced our marketing faculties to just like, well, I do Rightmove, so therefore it's done. Actually, you've got to get back into the kind of idea of thinking, well, I am selling to these people who are in my area. They have this average property size. They are this kind of person. They really like, rugby, or they really like, or the local school's so amazing. That's where, that's the big thing. Whatever it is, you've just got to start thinking a little bit more clearly about what's different about the target. And then the flip side of that is what's unique about you. And this, I speak to agents every single day, and every single one of them is different. And yet you go into Rightmove and every single one of them looks exactly the same. The uniqueness, whether it's heritage, how long you've been in the business, whether it is skill set, whether it is youth, whether it is age, whatever your USP is, whatever the thing is that makes you damn good at what you do and what makes people come to you, you need to be surfacing that and shouting about that and making sure that that's front and center of everything you talk about. So, that's the first thing I think is the branding kind of piece almost. It's kind of like really emphasizing those unique things about you. And then the second piece is, right, now you've got to kind of get out to market, right? You've got to find where these people hang out. What do they do? What are they talking about? Are they at the local school fair? Is the Christmas market in town, is that the place they're all going to be hanging out? So do I need to make sure I've got presence there? What is it that kind of unites them and gets them in a particular location? So finding out where they hang out, that's really important. And then being able to deliver that message. Again, one of the things that AI is amazing at is giving you time. All right. So I always go on about the fact that, it's getting the machines to do the machine bit and getting the humans to do the human bit, right? AI is not here to take your job. AI is here to enable you in this industry that is all about people. It's going to give you time for the people. So that's what we need to work on, right? And and again, look, we've got free webinars, we've got weekly podcasts, weekly newsletters. There's stuff out there. Just go find free stuff. It's great. But AI can get rid of a lot of the grunt work, a lot of the repetitive stuff, a lot of the things that you just happen to do over time because you've always done it. It can get rid of that, and it's really cost effective. So do that. So first of all, get your brand right. Second, find out where everybody is hanging out. And then third, free your time up. Okay, make sure that you're using all the tools that are incredibly cost effective, so that you are then able to go and go out into the world again. Get out from behind the desk. Go see people. Chat. Have fun. Enjoy.
And so you mentioned offline and kind of with tip two, right? Get an AI virtual assistant. right? Talk to me. How do I do that? Is there such thing? Like, surely I can't have them running through my emails. The Terminator is going to take over. Wow, what's it all about?
Not yet, but soon. So we call it an AI assistant, right? So an AI assistant should be kind of every agent's almost kind of base case as we go into 25, 26. So what an AI assistant is, and literally these things are like, 99 quid a month, right? It's insane for the whole brand, for the whole company. What it does is it is trained on you. All right, so it knows every single property that you've got. It knows your history. It knows your team. It knows the areas that you cover. It knows all about what your outlook is, your vision, your mission, how you like to talk, your tone of voice. And what this AI system does is it can sit in a variety of different locations. Most agents we work with, it sits down in the bottom right corner where the old live chat used to sit, but it is live chat on absolute steroids and and not one note. So it can sit down there. It can be integrated with WhatsApp for business. So essentially, the first thing that anybody chatting away on WhatsApp with you gets is an AI 24/7 response that is really knowledgeable, right? This is better than your best member of staff because it doesn't forget. And it doesn't have to go and ask, Cyril, what actually then it means when, when back 20 years ago this happened, was really, this learns everything. So essentially, people are asking it questions, sitting in your website, they can, but it's got so many different facets to it. For example, you can ask it for a property that has sea views, a parking space near town. All right, now in certain areas of the country, let's call it the Midlands, that's not going to work out very well. But if you've got sea views, or if you've got mountain views, or a riverside setting, or near a great school or the church, whatever it is, whatever that real kind of USP of that property is, it can be surfaced by this AI assistant. So all that happens is buyer types in the corner, I'm looking for this particular type of property. The AI system will go and search all your properties and bring back a selection of them. All right. So it's called natural language search. It takes the old way, which is 25 years of filtering. So drop down, location and distance from location and bedroom numbers and price and blah, that limiting search, and freeze it. So lets your buyers just go, oh, do you know what I really want is a skylight in the kitchen. So you can search for a skylight in the kitchen. So what does that mean for agents and why would you do that? This is an instruction winner. All right, this is market share. What happens is you go sit on the vendor's sofa, market appraisal, and say, look, Mrs. Vendor, what is it that you are going to miss most about when you move out? What are you going to miss most? And, a little tear to the eye about, well, obviously the kids grew up and I went to this little school and it's just around the corner. That's great. The railway station is just over there. This is, it's just got a great community spirit. I don't know, beer fest, whatever it is. Make sure that that's in the property description, and you can say to the vendor, well, look, we can do this. We can make sure that the next you finds these wonderful things about your property. So give us the instruction. We'll make sure it's put up here. Look, you can have a go yourself. Look, there it is, and they can feel it and live the new way of searching. So that's a really powerful way of going about it. It also, if anybody asks what's it like to live in Basingstoke or wherever you are, it can give an amazing account of that. It can talk about you, like all the unique things about you as a business can be on there as well. Even to the point that we've got agents who are when somebody moves in, so everybody that moves in, they give them a box of chocolates, bottle of wine, but they also give them a link on their phone to this AI assistant and say, look, if you want to know anything in the local area, just ask us. And it's branded as them. And they go on and they find that they ask, what's the best florist? I don't know. And it will bring up a particular florist. And smart agents are going around to the florists and the butchers and the artisan bakers and saying, look, we're going to feature you on our app. So when people move into the area and don't know which is the best restaurant to go to, we're going to recommend you. Can we put our card behind the bar? All that sort of stuff. So it's just a nice reciprocal, it's formalizing a lot of informal quid pro quos that are in place pretty much with the best agents anyway. But it just really, really helps from that, particularly if you can also then get a discount. If you get 20% discount off one of these retailers, then that buyer who's just moved in the area, that tenant is going to be using that before they go anywhere near Google.
So strong. I really, really like that. I'll in the show notes, I'll pop a couple of links if you send them me over after, because yeah, that's got me thinking straight away. We've gone over a little bit, but I like it. Have you got anything else for us?
I do. So I think that the final thing, and it's a very, very quick one, is
That's all
just
right.
improve AI literacy, right? So just get something, try everything. Try ChatGPT, right? Just sign up. It's $20, less than 20 quid a month. Try Claude, right? Claude's amazing. Claude from Anthropic. Try Google Gemini. Just sign up for some of them. Ask them some real dumb questions, and see what comes back. Because once you start to learn and to educate yourself about what is possible, it's pretty mind blowing. So and have a play around with Mid Journey, and get it to do some crazy images. Giraffes playing football on the moon. You can have that, right? If that's your thing. So it's just really just start to play around with it and to get to know it, because it's going to become such a massive part of our lives over the next coming years, faster than internet adoption happened, for those that remember that. So I just really, as soon as you can, just start playing around with it. Like I said, we've got loads of free stuff if you want to get in touch, just to see some of the stuff that we've been talking about over the last sort of year and a half. But yeah, that self-education piece, I think, is the thing over Christmas. Just find us a quiet corner for a couple of hours and see what happens.
Mal, thank you so much. You have told us how to circumnavigate Rightmove, which a lot of our listeners are going to love. You've told us that we need to go and get educated, and you've told us about a really cool virtual assistant. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this will go, oh, and click the link below, even though we're not selling on this podcast. We're going to get you back on in a few months, because I could go. This is really practical stuff that agents can be doing straight away, and this is what this podcast is all about. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Genuine pleasure.